So, guys, for you people who do not know Josh Rose, gosh, I think I've known you since I started here 8 years ago. Josh has
Yep.
been here a long time, and he is a two-time Hall of Fame producer. And for the
Can you
new
let the dogs
people,
in, please?
that is issuing 400,000 issue paid on your personal pen in a calendar year. And he did it in 2020, and he just did it again in 2021. And you have absolutely been lighting up the sales with, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's generally about 20K a week, not a month, a week. Would that be right?
Yeah, it has been close to that, either that or, 15 to 20 pass. I mean, yeah, for the most part.
Per week. So basically you're submitting you're submitting 20, and then that's helping you to make sure that you actually pay the 15 to 20, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, most of my stuff issues for the most part, but yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, and that's why we wanted to have you on here, because we've got a lot of new people, and we got some people who are just getting started. Feel free to come around where you can see, if you want. So I really want to talk about, Josh, the things that you're doing that are helping you issue pay that much consistently. And then also, because you are the king of persistency, I want you to hit on that too, because that's really important. And some of the new people may not even realize what that is yet.
Yep. Gotcha.
So go forward, and I'll ask questions if there's somewhere I want you to go deeper.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for having me on the call. Always an honor to hop on. And yeah, we've known each other for a while. Been on the ride, and it just keeps getting better. But I guess the past couple months, like I said, I've been going back and forth to LA often. So I really had to hunker down when it comes to like scheduling and be more like when I'm working. I mean, I work out there too, but like when I'm really in the field, I'm really just being intentional. And I just like, I guess my mindset and everything is just been like in a completely different place to where I'm just like, I just feel like, if I'm going to sit down with people, I'm going to help them, just because I just got a lot on my plate with traveling and everything. And I just feel like my mindset's a lot better than, in the past. And obviously you surround yourself with people who have a positive impact on your life versus, people who don't. I think you might know what I was talking about there.
Yes.
But yeah, so a lot has to do, I think, with that, it's just changed a lot for me just because my mindset's in such a good place. And, I feel like, when I'm working, and I'm really just being aggressive when I'm, here in town running business, and just, I just don't, I think maybe just like assuming the sale is way better. Like, and I'm just like in a better place in my life to where, and also just like the influence of your peers around you, you look at people like who are just out there crushing it. And it's like, well, I think for a minute there, all I thought I could do was 10 grand a week. And that's where my head was at. But as soon as I started like being like, okay, I'm just going to start doing 20K a week. And I would actually would be like, I'm going to write 50 grand in 15 days. Before I
remember when
LA.
you said that. Athena told me you were doing that.
Yeah, I said it because it was the last time I saw my girlfriend, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hold me accountable to it. And I freaking smoked it. I did like 55, and that's like the most insurance I've ever done in a 15-day span. And ever since then, I've just, it's like, I'm going to go write 20K. And as long as I have the appointments, I know it's going to happen. I didn't really have a greatest weekend this weekend, but I barely worked. But yeah, I feel like my mindset and just changing your mindset from, 10K a week to 20K a week. It's really not that different. It's just, you got to think that you can do it first before you go and do it. And I feel like that's helped a lot. And,
yeah,
for a while, just in the,
let's talk about, because this mindset is such an important part. And if anybody hangs out with Athena for more than an hour, you're talking about mindset, right? Because she is the queen of mindset. And I am far better at this and at life and everything because of all the good habits I've picked up from her on that.
Yeah.
So not to go into a deep dive in your personal life, but I do want to be sure everybody here that previously you were hanging around people who were not positive and not supporting of you in this business. And now you have people in your personal life that are positive and are supportive. They're cheering you on, and they'll, when you say, hey, hold me accountable to this, you know, they'll poke and prod you. So good influences, and that's making a difference. So, you know, if you guys have got negative weight holding you down, get rid of it. Get rid of it. And I think I told you that about 100 times, but we'll go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly. No, it's crazy to think about, because like I was like just reflecting back, you know, just thinking about that, and I'm like, wow, that's like one of the main things. And I don't want to like sound corny or anything, but it's true. You know, I know I'm good with people, and in the home, it's just changing your mindset to, you know, just higher goals. I mean, and just constantly trying to improve. And like, yeah, Athena's helped me, like, yeah, exactly, you know, walk me off the edge millions of times. It's helped me both in business and personal life. So it's been, you know, having her always, you know, for the past 10 years that we've been doing this, help me with that has been a huge impact. So, you know, and just staying plugged in, you know, just keeping in contact, watching the scoreboards, and just, you know, going to work. You know, everyone, there's so many people out there who are crushing it. And it's like, if they can, why can't I? And having that mindset, it's just, you know, if Easton or Jake or any of them are getting 20 or 30 grand a week, why can't I? You know, so it's just changing your mindset. Because for a while, I was just like, you know, I was good with 10K a week. And then I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Switch it
and
up.
Josh, you've been here long enough. Do you remember when Sean, back in the beginning, he used to read the leaderboard, the entire company leaderboard on the Friday training. And then we got so big, he said, okay, you have to issue 5K for me to read your name. And we were all like, oh, 5K in a week, we can't do that. And then we all did, and it got so big again. He said, okay, you have to issue 10K for us to read. And we were like, oh, we can't do that, but we wanted to hear our name, so we did it. And literally, it was pretty cool how it all worked out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just a little throwback there.
Yeah, I remember.
But let's get into what you're doing to achieve this 20K submit that's getting you 15 to 20K issue paid weekly.
So it's just, you know, when you're making sure you have a full schedule, you know, being accountable to that, that's first and foremost, you know, making sure you're dialing on your dial days and just, you know, hitting your appointment goals. And I know, like, during that stretch, you know, when I did the 50K thing, I think one week I ran like 36 appointments in a week. And normally I probably average like around 25, but I was just up in that. And then it's just really, you know, being intentional when I'm in the home, and just, you know, slowing down and just really getting, you know, slowing down with the client, and then just trying to put them in the best spot, and just selling a lot on value. Like, my premiums have increased. Like, I'm getting, like, you know, I'll find, like, you know, $300 case, you know, his and hers, $300 a month. You get a couple of those in a day, and it just adds up. And, you know, just being more intentional in the home, making sure you're getting policies out, and just really slowing down and just getting a good, clear picture why, and just being a better problem solver, and just, you know, really just solving their problems. And I feel like that's helped a ton. And just like I said, just the total assumption of the sale. It's like, if I'm going through a whole financial inventory, like, I'm going to help them out. If, you know, if I didn't do a good job, like getting a good why out, I'll, you know, that's when I know, like, oh man, well, maybe I got to slow down a little bit. It still happens, but, you know, for the most part, it's just, you know, really just, you know, hunkering down and just asking a ton of questions, and just building the value up so much to where, you know, you can get higher premiums. And I feel like my premiums are like probably averaging like $150 a case at least. So it's gone up a lot. So I'm clearly doing something better in selling value, and whatnot. And yeah, just
so
really just,
let's,
you know, keeping it simple.
What is your introduction when you get in a home?
So, you know, I just go in there, you know, I'll make small contact if it's, or small contact. I say small talk. Small talk if it's natural. You know, if they have dogs, obviously I'm showing them pictures of the dogs. You know, like, these are my two kids, you know, make fun of
Mhm.
myself a little bit. I don't have any kids, 35. And just kind of running into it, just, you know, I just go in with my little portfolio briefcase thing. It's just like a little thing, and just tell them, you know, here's what I do. I'm big about structure. So it's all structure. So, you know, I just run into it. I get out my, you know, the carrier credibility sheet, tell them, you know, who I am, you know, I work with Family First Life, run my own agency. I've been doing this now for about 10 years. I love helping families. We're like the brokers for the mortgage protection. So we work with about 30 carriers. So we can help clients shop around to find the best plans. You know, we specialize in mortgage protection, any types of life insurance, some final expense and retirement income planning, asset protection. You know, I just got to run through some questions with you to better understand your situation. And then I go right into like their why. Most of my family send these in. They want to have some coverage to protect the mortgage when they die. Help me understand your situation so I can best guide you. You know, what were your main concerns, you know, for putting the pen to paper. And then I just shut up and listen to them, and we'll just ask more questions and, you know, try to dig there and just figure out what the heck's going to happen, you know, God forbid, when they die.
Right.
And really sitting there for a little bit. And then, and then I just always, you know, after I get a good while, well, perfect. That's exactly what this is going to do. Perfect. That's exactly what this is going to do. I stole that from somebody, I think, Rob Richmond or something. I stole that a while ago, but just agreeing with them, and then just going into financial inventory. You know, all right, guys, you know, my main goal is to help you design something that fits your budget. I just got to run through the suitability worksheet with you. It's just some basic questions about the mortgage, health, and finances, and then based off those answers, I'll be able to come up with some plans for you. You know, like I said, main goal is to help you design something that fits your budget, and then I just run into the financial inventory. I'll hunker in more on the income if they're married, just because that gets more of a picture, painting the picture out. You know, when they're going to die, you know, you're taking the income away. I cross it off in front of them. And just really, you know, just going through, I'm not going to go through the whole financial inventory, but just spending time on that and just figuring out what's going to happen when they die. And then, you know, coming up with a solution for them, whether it's a cash back or if they're, you know, if they're older and, you know, they're healthy, like the IULE, you know, I'm big on showing that because it builds really good cash value. And, you know, it's, you know, I sell a lot of those when they're in their 50s and 60s.
Me too.
Done, you know, because that's just, it's cheaper than a 20-year term a lot of the times, or the same price. So it just doesn't make sense. And I'm not big on showing people 15-year terms. So just putting people in a better spot, selling on value, and treating them like they're my family. And I tell people that. I'm like, you know, or if I'm selling a cash back, I have this on myself. Or if I'm selling them the IULE, you know, I did this for my parents. So it's just, you know, certain stuff like that, just little word tracks along the way, and just really creating the value so much to where they, you know, they jump on it. And then it's just getting them approved, and, you know, just telling them before, you know, obviously before you even I show numbers, I, you know, tell them, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain to you exactly, you know, what's available, what you qualify for. You're going to, you know, then I'm going to show you some options. Then you pick the plan out that best fits your budget. And then we got to do an application on the iPad to get you approved. And when it's approved, they'll, you know, draft the first payment. And that's before I even, you know, show them any numbers. And then I'm big on explaining to them the policies and what they're going to, you know, what they qualify for. So if it's like the Americo cashback or Americo term, you know, I'm explaining to them like basically what's on that 10-point sheet about the living benefits, et cetera, and really hunkering in on that, and telling stories, you know, like if you have a stroke and half your body doesn't work, you know, and you can't work anymore, all you have to do is turn this on. You can get all the money out and you don't have to worry about your house. So stuff like that along the way. And then just, you know, big on showing them the numbers, you know, writing everything out, you know, $200,000 coverage, 200 living benefits, 300 grand accidental, et cetera. So just stuff like that. If it is like, if I'm showing like an IUL, I'll, you know, explain it to them. It has living benefits, and then just, you know, I'll show them the illustration, how it builds value, and do it all down there, get them to sign the illustration right on my phone on Notability, and get those things issued in a couple days. So
Gotcha. Now, the big premiums, how do you think you went from having lower in general on average premiums to having higher premiums?
A lot of the ones recently getting policies out, finding crappy policies. So you're getting, you know, you can create way more value when you put people in a better spot. And and whatnot. And then I think I've just, I've been closing a lot more people who are, just older, who I'm just getting higher premiums with, and just, really creating the urgency and, asking enough good questions to paint the picture of what's going to happen when they die. And, just selling the value of what the plan's going to do for them, if it's cash back or if it's an IUL, it's going to have all this money in it. If it's, payment protection, it's just, running through how that's going to work for their family. Just really, and really before I even show them numbers, really just explaining to them how it's going to, what the policy does for them, compared to like back in the day. I would just show them 3 quotes and not explain anything. It's like, okay, yeah, you're going to go, it's like, go into a store and just showing you 3 different quotes for something, or, prices. It's like, no, what is it going to do for me? So I think that's helped a lot when getting higher premiums, because they're educated and they clearly see that I'm, that I know what I'm talking about, and I know the stuff that I'm explaining to them. And I feel like that builds more trust in them with me, and it allows me to get higher premiums, and they know what's going on. I'm real with people. I'm not pushy or anything. I'm just there to have a conversation with them. And a lot of people, and a lot of times people sense that. They just, whereas back when you're new and you have commission breath, it's a lot harder. But now it's like, I want to help everybody, but it's not going to make a difference to me if I don't sell it or not. I'll just go sell it to the next person.
Right.
You have enough appointments. When you have enough appointments, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So, and Josh, let me ask you this. Are you, when you're showing somebody like either a CBO from America or even the IULE, are you showing the maximum that they qualify for?
Yeah, it depends on their age and everything. If they're like in their 60s and they got a $300,000 mortgage, I may not show them, $300,000. Well, you can't even show 300 grand IUL or whatever cash back. It's situational. I'm showing them big numbers though. Yeah.
Okay.
If they're, young enough where they can qualify for the whole mortgage. Yeah, I'll show them the whole thing and then work my way down. I normally probably only will show like 2 options.
Okay. The reason I ask is because I know when I was new, I was very hesitant to show the top with those big numbers, because most of us come into this business needing to make money. We don't come in with a whole bunch already. So I kind of projected my budget onto them. Right.
Exactly.
And then when I finally started saying, hey, my company requires I show you the maximum you qualify for. And so I can always, like, let's say I'm doing Living Promise. I can start at the 40. I just did that with an 84-year-old. I showed her 40 and it was like $500 and some dollars. And then I showed her 30,000 and it was 379. And I showed her 20 and it was high. And I think I even went down to 10 just because she was 84 and it was super expensive. That lady picked the 30,000 for $379.
Oh yeah.
If I hadn't been willing to say my company requires I show you the maximum and start there, even though it was outrageous, I wouldn't even pay that. I wouldn't have gotten $379, and she can afford it and it's important to her. So, I wasn't taking advantage. I was solving her problem.
Exactly.
But you won't know if you don't show it. So
for sure. The same thing. Yeah. When I have like ones like that, and it's, the maximum they can get, and those types, whole life ones, I do show the max. Like that. But if they're in like really good health, and if I can get it, I'll show them the most. But the only time I don't is if they're like in their 60s, 70s, and it's like $300,000 mortgage, and it's going to be. I tell them though, I'm like, it's going to be another mortgage payment. Before I even show it to them, like, so most clients do is cover a critical portion. And I'm selling them on the fact of critical period coverage, but that's when they're like really good health, and I can show them. I'm going to be showing them
bigger amounts,
$300 or $400. Yeah, because then it's like you said before, they see something for 400, but then they see something for 200, and it's cheap to them. Not cheap to them, but they see that big number and like, oh well, that's a smaller one. I can do that. It's just all psychology along to picking stuff
Exactly.
So, sure.
Totally agree with that. And I think that's a hard thing to do when you're new, because you don't have a lot of confidence. But like Jessica's here in the room with us, she's new and she's been selling big premiums because she calls from the home and we're talking about not only what product, and I'm quickly going over the benefits so she can build value with the client, but I'm also making a recommendation on what amounts to start with. And she's actually listening and doing it, and she's getting big premiums, and she's only been here a couple weeks.
Hell yeah.
So it's all about our process. Our process truly works if you plug into it. So I think Eddie has a question. He's really good about doing that little hand thing on here so I can see.
Yeah, it was just, how many leads are you working from a week to set 25 solid appointments where you're in and sitting down? 20, 80?
I'm sorry, you cut out there a little bit, man.
I think he was asking about how many leads are you doing? What's your appointment goal? And how many do you typically sit with out of your appointments? Did I get that right, Eddie?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay. So I try to shoot for 30 appointments a week, but I probably will average like around 25. So around 25 appointments, and I have 3 different areas that I get mail in. So I have I live in Charleston, so I have that area. And then I go to Savannah, which is 2 hours away, less than 2 hours. So I have that whole area, and then I have the Columbia area. And everything's just on autopilot. So it just comes in as they come in. I probably invest, $1,500 a week in leads, maybe a little more, a little less sometimes. Right now it's going to be a lot more because I'm, taking over areas in LA. But I mean, I'd like to have a ton of leads when I dial. Sometimes I have to scrap it out, but I probably invest around that much. And then if I have to CRM it, I will CRM, with instant leads and whatnot. Or
right.
I haven't in a minute though. I've just mainly been working mortgage leads. And yeah, for the most part, it's mainly mortgage right now, but I have done the instant 1 month and then just, dial like crazy. It's just, you always want to have enough leads. It just depends on, your situation with what you're, running, how new you are, what you have locked out. So it's different for me because I've had these areas for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since we got them. Oops. Josh, you locked up. Hold on.
Yeah.
There you are. It's my internet that we pay extra for the good stuff, and it still does this. But anyway, you got to love it. So just for anybody who's confused, Josh, like myself, we were here at Family First Life when there were no leads. And the very first type of leads that we got were the mortgage mailers. So we locked down counties, and it's called the buy per lead. You definitely need to be in a stable financial situation with your business before you commit to a buy per lead program. But that's something we can definitely talk about with anybody who's interested. So what happens is these mailers get mailed out automatically. We don't do anything. People fill them out, they come back, and we pay per lead as they come in. So when we go to bed at night, the lead fairy drops them in our CRM. She also takes money off our credit card, and then we wake up to leads. And I, like Josh, if I don't have enough mortgage protection coming in, then I will dip into CRM and grab some of the internet leads or the final expense leads and supplement to be sure, because quantity is important. But I heard you say you're averaging between 25 and 30 appointments a week, which is good. I mean, most of you will hear on any training you listen to full time is aiming for 30. I remember at one point when we were just trying to get to 20, and then I remember we were trying to get to 24. It's just crazy. I can remember the steps that we've taken. We're definitely a lot more profitable now than we were when we got started because we work more. We work more, right? Therefore, you can earn more.
2 days a week, 15
there
appointments.
Exactly. Didn't we used to think we were doing something? We had 4 appointments a day, and now we're like, oh, that's nothing. We shouldn't even leave the house for that. How many would you say you sit with out of the 25 to 30?
I mean, if I have 30 appointments, I'll probably just have a couple no-shows, maybe like 3, 4.
Okay.
Not
So you're doing a
ton.
good job of tying
Yeah.
down your appointments. And let's talk about persistency before we run
Yeah.
out of time, because that's really important. If you don't mind taking a minute to explain what that is, because again, a lot of new people on here.
Yeah, persistency is just your business staying on the books, and you want to hold good persistency because the carriers could fire you. So it's basically just the quality of your business and, having it stay on the books, right? I don't really know how to explain it. But so you want to get good at placement and persistency. Placement's just putting them in the right product, getting them approved. But persistency is, having it stay on the books, which is essentially just doing a good job for the client. But I'm big on, after I help them, really, going through again, after the app's done, then I just, go through everything again with them, explain it to them again, whatever we did, if it was a cash back, whatever, IUL, payment protector, just explaining to them the coverages, running through it again with them, telling them how much it's going to cost, draft dates on approval. And I have a sheet that I fill out with the carriers on it. And it's, got the company, policy number, draft date, premium, but I write everything out 200 grand coverage, living benefits, etc. Put that on there. If it's cash back, show them how much to get cash back and just re-go through that with them again. And then big on selling myself afterwards. So, I tell them, like I said, guys, I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm not going to be doing anything different. I'm going to be your agent from here on out. Question, concerns, you need anything at any time, call me anytime. My phone's always on. I'll get back to you right away if you leave a message. And God forbid anything were to happen to you, I'm going to be the one helping you get the check as fast as possible. So just, telling them that I'm going to be their guy and I'm going to be their agent. And then just if you guys get any other calls, about the mortgage protection or whatever you went through with them, you're taken care of, you're good to go. Like I said, I'm the local guy here. It's all the same thing, basically, we have all the companies. This is the best plan for you guys. So just telling them that I'm going to be their agent from here on out, selling myself on it. And then, when I get back into the office, I just, whatever leads I sold, I just give them to Brittany and she fills out a little postcard and mails it to them.
Thank you postcard.
Yeah.
Yep. And I started doing that. I learned that from you, Josh. I started doing that. And we also have a birthday postcard that we send out.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we do that, CRM will remind you. You can put it in there so it kicks out an email to you reminding you, and then my staff fills it out, same as you. It's quick, it's easy, and even if you don't have staff yet, it doesn't take a lot to do that. And those postcards, they give you, I have a pre-printed message, so I'm really just signing, and I might even, if they had a dog or something that I fell in love with, I might say hugs to, and the dog's name on there. Because it just, again, it's a personal touch, so this is all, guys, the good news is we work with the best carriers. So you have the best value in the products to sell when you get in the home. But it's important that you also sell yourself and why you are the best to be their agent for the rest of their life, because that will prevent, if somebody comes in there after you and they show them something that's $5 less, but they don't talk about helping their wife when he dies, your client's not going to change for $5 less because that person isn't going to help my wife when I die. Josh said he would be here to help my wife, so we need to sell the value in us too. And that is why, Josh, are you still number one in the company? I know for many, many years you were number one.
I know they gave an award to me a couple of years ago, but
yeah, he was number one in placement and persistency in the entire company. And it wasn't that long ago. We were fairly large, not as big as we are now. So, yeah. And if anybody's interested, I've got the templates for the thank you postcards. Postcard postage is less. So that's another reason I did it. It's quick. You don't have to write a whole lot on it. So it doesn't take a lot of time. And if anybody wants that birthday, I've also got that as well. So, any last advice, Josh, for anybody who wants to go from just getting started, or maybe even issuing a couple, maybe about 5K a week to 20K?
Yeah, I would, so if you're brand new, obviously just grind it out, on the phones, on the CRM stuff, and then just get with your mentor and then come up with a good lead strategy. But it's going to be a grind at first. When I get those, it's a grind. I still do. I just sit there and call on them because there's a lot of money to be made. But just know that the activity, if you put in the activity, the talent or whatever you want, the confidence, swagger, all that comes, and it's just go on more appointments. It's just like anything you do more of, you get better at it. And just focus on your attitude and your activity. It's what you can control. And then, you're going to get better in the home, the more appointments you go on. And just constantly try to get better. Like everything I went through today is not me. I just stole it from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So just reach out to people who are where you want to be too. Don't talk to people who aren't like in the business. If they're not, don't take advice from people who aren't issuing what you want to issue. And, just see a lot of families and just know that assume the sale. They're inviting a stranger over to their house. They fill out a card. They need the help. Just slow down and ask a lot of questions. And then, help them with something that's gonna, be there when they need it most. And that's what we do. We protect the families and be yourself too. Just that I feel like that helps a lot. Just being I'm just chill the whole time, and I feel like that helps with a lot. I'm not trying to stress anyone out or be that pushy sales dude. But just focus on that and focus on your attitude and your activity. And just if you're look at your numbers of how many appointments you're running, and it's pretty easy to, if you want to go from issuing 10K to 20K, add more appointments to it. And then the more appointments, you're going to get better. So eventually you won't have to do 35 appointments a week. You get down to 25, 30. And I feel like that's what a lot has come with me, because I've gotten better in the home. And so I don't have to, I like to hit 30 appointments a week, but sometimes I don't. But I know that if I get at least 25, I can hit my numbers and be accountable to yourself, set goals, and like I said, reach out to people where you want to be and go to conference.
Good, all good advice. All good advice. Well, guys, Josh is part of the FFL Coastal team, our team. So we have our Marco Polo group called Let's Grow, but there's also an FFL Coastal. So if you are not in that Marco Polo, but you'd like to be, please just send me a text. I can get you in there. But where Josh is in there, he's making posts about his day and giving out advice on there. Josh, thank you for taking your time. Eddie, do you have one more question before we end this?
Yeah. When you miss your goal of your 10 or 12 appointments that you're calling for on dial, do you take the next morning where you've got to get more, or do you go out and find more success door knocking?
So yeah, if I have open space in my schedule in the morning, I'd rather get on, like tomorrow, I'm actually leaving my morning open to dial for Wednesday, just because my leads have been super slow coming in. So I'm leaving my morning open to dial in the morning, and then fill up my day for tomorrow. So I'm pretty jammed, and then I'll just hammer out a full day for Wednesday. And then if I need to Wednesday, that's when I'll throw in the door knocks. But tomorrow, if I'm dialing today and I don't have a full jam day for Tuesday, then I'll leave from 8 to 10 open to dial. And just because the mornings are a good time to dial and you can catch people, but just being fanatic in your activity, if you have appointments, you can dial in between, you can door knock, pretty much do anything. So everything works a little bit.
Absolutely. And even though you guys hear a full-time schedule, it's typically dialing on Thursday for Friday, Saturday, and then again on Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday. It doesn't mean you can't dial any other times. If you have white space in your calendar and you're trying to be successful here, you should be dialing to fill up more open appointment times or door knocking leads that you can't get hold of. This, again, attitude and activity. That is how we get better, how we become successful, and how we maintain that. So, great question, Eddie. Thank you for that. So, again, Josh, thanks for joining us. I do appreciate it. I know you're busy.
Awesome. Thank you for having
good luck
me.
with the move. You're not going till after conference, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll see you.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you down there. And for everybody, Josh will be in Miami.
Yep. I will be there.
All right. Great. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good day.
Right.
Let's get
See
back
ya.
to
Thanks for
dialing and
having
knock
me.
it out.